people. We're gonna go up and we're gonna start buying these convenience stores up that are owned by Middle Easterns who care nothing about us. We're gonna start buying up gas stations from Middle Easterns that care nothing about us. Marcus, I didn't get that. I didn't get that video about reparations. I'm actually trying to find the breakdown what I did a couple days ago about who has received reparations, and this was from the University of Massachusetts study of who's received reparations, because that was an issue when I started talking about reparations. Well, you think Mexicans should get it? I ain't talking about no Mexicans. Oh, don't you think so and so should get it? I ain't talking about them. I don't care nothing about them. I'm not talking that I don't care. I'm not talking about them. They're not part of this conversation. And you're right, Hazel. What if we did get our reparations and go right back to Africa? Go to West Africa and start building up Sierra Leone that was built for us. How about we go back and build up Liberia that was built for us? What if we go over into Libya, where the Middle Easterns, the Arabs, the new age Arabs, right now are selling our people into slavery? What if we go in because we got the money? We already talking about pistols and while we toting and we so thuggish and we G's and all that. We start going over there and we set war to free our people. What if that happened? But I'm just saying, man. See, they are afraid. They honestly are afraid of what we would do with money. Real money. I'm not talking about you can start. See, this is the thing. You give reparations over a period of time. Somebody invests it, and I'm being real. Start investing it. Investing your money into these businesses and different things like that. Or you start investing it into, now I ain't talking about 401ks, into like mutual funds and stuff like that. And you start building wealth, generational wealth. I'm not talking about being rich. I'm talking about wealth. You start building wealth with the reparation money. Then what happens? The whole entire structure happens. See, if we take ourselves away from this, right? If we take ourselves away from America, period. What if we took ourselves away from it? Then what happens? If we say, you know what, I'm not about to deal with America anymore. I'm going to go over and invest my money into gold in Africa, in diamond mines. If we really invested back into Africa, and I'm telling black people this for a reason, because let me get reparations tomorrow, I'm gone. Because what I want to do is be able to build from the place I came from. Now, I don't know exactly where I came from. The first thing that they need to do, I would say this. The first thing that needs to happen when it comes to reparations is every black person get a free DNA test, and you tell me all the way to the tribal place where my mama came from, where my daddy came from. It's to be the first thing you need to do in reparations. So there's no mishap. So you can't go over here like the $5 Indian. If you don't know what the $5 Indian is, I'm going to tell you what it is. The $5 Indian is the white man who paid to say that they were Indians. It was $5 at that time. $5. So you got white people running around here talking about, my great-grandmother was 100% Cherokee, and there was 100% this, and there was 100% that. No, they 100% put $5 on the table, and that's how they became that. Because this is history. This is complete history. I'm not even talking about the whitewashing of our people, the whitewashing of Native Americans. A lot of Native Americans was dark. A lot of Native Americans was dark. When you start looking at pictures of Native Americans that was drawn, I'm not talking about these paintings and all this stuff. I'm talking about go back and start researching actual paintings from the 1600s when people started coming up here in the 1600s. When they started coming to the Americas. Actually, it started the first people that actually came over to the Americas and started slavery was the Portuguese. Was a white Portuguese start coming over in 1492. This is the first known, besides the Muslim slave trade in 600 AD, the second slave trade, second major slave trade was a Portuguese slave trade. Then after the Portuguese slave trade, then you got the European slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade. But you have many whites who would take women, because we're talking about during the times of when Columbus came over here, that was pillaging and raping women. What do you think they did? They got them women pregnant, start having offspring. That's what happened. And then you start lightening up the community. This was an epidemic in Brazil, in South America. When you start looking at Brazil and Honduras and stuff like that, people start doing a DNA test like, dude, I did not know that I was sub-Saharan African and I look like this. That I had African bloodlines. Because these are things that are not taught. So all I'm saying is there is a need for reparations. We're not going to start talking about, I haven't even got it to like redlining, banker fraud, what they used to do to black people with high interest loans, or would not give or would deny loans in certain areas. What they would do and this was prominent in LA. My mom is from California. My people's from LA. So if I say homie and stuff like that a lot, or if you start hearing that California accent, that's really where it comes from. But what they would do is you had places that was in LA. They're broken down buildings right now. You had Firestone. They did the same thing to Detroit. We had like Firestone, and you had these big plants, so you have this. And now what they do is they take those plants and they put them in the middle of rural white areas. They take them away from the actual cities and put them in rural areas. There's a reason for that. There is a complete reason for that. Because when they were in the city, it was easy for blacks to have a steady middle class wage. So they were able to build their wealth. They were able to build the so-called American dream. Just to not be bothered with being your own community. Everybody's thriving. You got black stores and stuff like that. And then what they do? You want integration? Okay, we got your integration. All right, we're just going to take these buildings. We're going to take these jobs away. This was prominent in LA. Don't believe me? Go watch the documentary, and I still think it's I think it's still on Amazon Prime. Go watch the Bloods and Crips documentary. So first portion of that, start talking about how they took away the jobs in the community. So I'm gonna tell you this, yep. But not only that, Steve, because just let you know, Stephen put Bring Us Home to Kansas, how they remove the shop classes, metal shops from schools. Not only that, bro, the Bottoms was one of the biggest thriving areas for people that was in the urban areas, and I'm talking about Juniper Gardens. We start talking about St. Margaret's, because that's right off the viaduct in Kansas. Why do you think the Bottoms look like that? They took away all the factories that was close to the black neighborhoods. Because most of the black neighborhoods are in, I'm about to bring you on in just a second. Most of the black neighborhoods was right there in the northeast side of KCK. So people were thriving in those areas in Gateway and Jupiter Gardens and Chelsea and Northeast, and where Northeast was to Northwest, Quindaro, all of that. People was thriving in that area because that was a black area. But then they start taking away the jobs, and look what happened. I'm about to bring Stephen James on. If I could click him in, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to bring you on, Steve. What's going on with it, bro? What you got for me? Hold, hold up, you got a lot of feedback in your background. I don't know what that noise is. Why? Because I cannot hear any. I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that, but I can't hear any. Okay, type it in, bro. We gonna try to get back to you later. All right. Bye, Elijah. Go shut the door. Daddy's working. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a second. Sorry. See Hazel, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened with James, but it started clicking out. But whatever he types, I'm about to they hating the knowledge, bro. That's what it is. They hating the knowledge. They don't want to. I'm telling you, a lot of white America doesn't want to hear this, and it's not because what we're saying is wrong. They just don't want to hear it. And I believe they don't want to hear it because when you start speaking the truth about things, it's just fear. It's fear of the unknown. And Jace put the heat report was put out for Wyandotte County. They don't want this to spread out, man. I'm about to take a quick commercial break and then I'm gonna come back with more of the Dre Mack Show.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Welcome back to more of the Dre Mack Show. I think I got too closer to the mic on that one. I actually found the information. We start talking about reparations. So this was the historical timeline of reparation payments made from 1866 to through 2018 by the United States government, states, cities, and universities. And this is when people start talking about reparations, this is what I point to. So, listen to this. 1866, you had the Southern Homestead Act. Ex-slaves were given 6 months to purchase the land at a reasonable rates without competition from white Southerners and Northern investors. But owing to their destitution, few ex-slaves were able to take advantage of the program. The largest number that did were located in Florida, numbering little more than 3,000 people. The program failed. So, what was going on at that time, to kind of give you because Emancipation Proclamation, 1865, right? That's the Emancipation Proclamation. Remember, a lot of people in the South didn't even know that there were free slaves. And if many of them left, They were owed. You had to pay a debt. You had to pay out of your slavery. When you're